What's up team? As always, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Ever since getting the Lofree Flow last year, I've been getting a lot of questions on it on Instagram as well as on YouTube, and it makes total sense. It's a great looking, low profile mechanical keyboard, offering a great typing experience. And in fact, it is the keyboard that I end up recommending the most out of all the ones I've ever tried, because it has such a unique design and a unique typing feel. And whenever I'm recommending it, people sometimes have issues with it, whether it's in the comments or in person. Some of these issues include the lack of 2.4 GHz connectivity. You can't adjust the height, so if you want to have a different angle, we're kind of stuck with this one. You can't also customize the keyboard, so you can't really remap any keys, but the biggest one of all was its premium price point. At $159, it's not exactly an affordable keyboard. I do think it is worth the money, but I understand that you might not want to spend that kind of money on a keyboard. And recently, Lofree just released their new Lofree Flow Lite, which is like the second version of this one, and it is a bit cheaper at $129. If you do get it in the early birds discount on their Kickstarter campaign, you can get it at $69, which is a really good point. They were able to lower the price while also upgrading a lot of features that were missing from the original Lofree Flow. And after using it for a month, I feel very happy to share my thoughts with you today. Now, when it comes to the unboxing experience, there's not a ton to say. It is pretty nice. You get your papers, of course, as well as a USB to USB-C cable with a 90-degree angle. You obviously get the keyboard itself as well. I went with the white version, which is something different. I don't usually go with white keyboards, but I think this one looks really good. And you also get a gray or a pink version as well, if you want that color. As soon as I had the keyboard in my hands, I was really surprised to see how different it was from the original Lofree Flow. You do get elements of design that remind you of the original one, such as the bezels on the sides, as well as the scrolling wheel, which is made from a brass-looking material, which you also had a bit everywhere on the Lofree Flow. I thought it was a really nice design touch, and it reminds you a bit of the original model. Now, in order to make this keyboard more affordable, they had to go with a full plastic build, and it does make it feel a bit cheaper than the original model, which was made with an aluminum body, so it is a bit more bendy, for example. However, when I compare it to other keyboards I have that are also in plastic, it feels a lot more premium than those, even though it's a bit cheaper than some of the options I have. Now, while I was a bit surprised by the design, they also added a lot of cool things. For example, now the battery indicator is now at the top of the keyboard, which means it'll be easier to see when your keyboard is slowly running out of battery. The USB connection dongle is now at the bottom of the keyboard, which I think is a nice touch, since most of the time it is in the original boxes, and I never carry boxes with me, so whenever I need to have the dongle, I usually don't have it with me. So having it directly in the keyboard, I think is a good idea. You also now get flip out stands that mean you can adjust the angle of the keyboard, whether you want a 3-degree or a 6-degree angle, to make it more comfortable for you. This is a really nice addition to the original Flow model. It also means that if you're going to be carrying it with you in your bag, for example, it won't take as much space since it's now slimmer. A pretty big addition is a brass-looking scrolling wheel at the top right of the keyboard. I have to say, when I first used it and saw it was to control the volume, I was a bit skeptic, since you already have a button to play with your volume, whether you want to mute it, put it up or down. So I was like, why would I need to have a scrolling wheel for that purpose? And also, when playing with it, I could see that it moved a bit in the casing, which made it feel a bit cheaper than the rest of the keyboard. But after using the keyboard for a month, I actually ended up using this thing all the time. As soon as you get used to it, you end up using this instead of the main buttons. It's a lot easier, and I don't know, it feels nice. And when you do start to use it, you'll see that the scrolling wheel is actually really nice to use. The kind of clicking feeling is pretty cool. And when you click on it to mute your sound, for example, the click as well is satisfying. So I ended up being pretty happily surprised with this new feature. Now, an area where they did not compromise at all is the typing experience. Just have a listen to this. I really like the typing experience of the original Flow as well as the new Lite model. They both get a gasket mounted design, which means you get a bit of a more cushioned feeling when you're typing. And they also have IXPE foam as well as polyurethane, which makes the keyboard even more cushioned, but mostly it helps with the sound that it makes. Now, while the materials themselves do play a big role in the typing experience, another thing that plays a bigger role is of course the switches themselves. And I have the linear switches, which I think feel really good and I like the typing sound. However, I'm personally more of a fan of a tactile switch like the one I have on my original Flow model. You'll be happy to know that you can swap the switches on the new Lofree Flow Lite as well as on the original one. Now do keep in mind that if you're going to be swapping these switches, you do need to use low profile ones, as it is a low profile mechanical keyboard. If you just put regular switches, it will feel a bit strange. Now when it comes to the bigger upgrades, two of the most requested ones were first, customizability, and two was 2.4 GHz wireless connectivity. And they are both now in the new Lofree Flow Lite. You get the 2.4 connectivity if you're using the dongle itself, which like I said is now at the bottom of the keyboard, so you can always have it with you. And when it comes to customizing the app, you'll need to use the Lofree configurator. It's an app you can download right now. It is available only on Windows for the moment. However, they did tell me that the Mac version was coming pretty soon as well. Now within the app, you can create different profiles if you're going to be doing different things with your keyboard, and you can remap all the keys as well as set macros if you are the type of person that needs to have some of these things. Now if you're curious about this app, I made a tutorial for them to use, so it is on their channel, and I'll go over the app and what you can do with it. I'm really happy to have worked on them for this little project. It was really fun. And now for the big question, should you be getting one? I think that for the price, it's a really unique keyboard that offers a really good typing experience in a low profile format, which like I said, I think is really good for you, especially if you're used to non-mechanical keyboards, so regular ones, where they are a lot slimmer. A low profile mechanical keyboard will be a great bridge, and this one is not too expensive and like I said, offers a great typing experience. Now since it is a fully pre-built keyboard and low profile, it's all optimized, I think that if you're someone that likes to mod your keyboards, it's just not going to be the one for you. However, for anyone else, it's going to be a perfect fit. In fact, it's probably going to be the keyboard that I will recommend the most from now on because of its more affordable price point and all the optimizations that they made to it. Now, one big question does remain, and it's, would you like to pick the Flow Lite over the regular Lofree Flow? Let me know down in the comments. And also, I'll be making a desk setup tour really soon, and I'd like to know if you have any questions or things you'd like me to showcase. That's it for today. Have a nice day, team.